So I'm just going to take you through some of the joint mobility exercises that I do most mornings. It really helps me. The idea with all these mobilisations is to sort of mobilise and to nourish the joints, to kind of wring the fascia out, bring fluid and nutrients, blood flow, energy, everything through all of the joints, and it's just a good way to start the day or before you do exercises. So I usually start from the head and work my way down the body. So one for the head is you can start with a rotation. So you're keeping good posture with your chin in and you're just rotating your head to each side. All of these I do 3 to each side. Can you see the difference between this and just that small movement where your chin's in and you're just rotating that top back part of the neck? So the way to think of it is to think that you've got a pole going up through your neck and you're just rotating around that pole, keeping the chin in. And you should feel a stretching up through back of the neck and the spine. Okay, so the next one is the lift. So this time you're going to imagine that you're being pulled, that you're being lifted into the air by the back of the ear or the top of the jaw. So you can see the difference between this and between that kind of lifting, that decompression of the spine. You're being pulled tall. It's relaxing, nothing should ever hurt. You'll probably feel a kind of a pulling or a stretching up through that area, up the top side of the neck. And you want to do these with your breath, so breathing out as you're going into that movement. Okay, the next one is a lateral shift of the neck. I'm not very good at this one, but if you imagine the Indian dance where they do that, and it's a lateral shift, so that you're keeping good posture, your head staying upright, it's not tilting, and you're just shifting your head laterally. And whenever I do this, I feel kind of a releasing through my neck, but it feels like I feel quite stuck in there. Okay, so they're the main ones for the neck. Now we're going to come onto the shoulder girdle. Now from here, you can do one arm first if you want to. I like to do both together, but let's just break that down. So we're going to take the one shoulder up as far as you can, then we're going to bring it forward as far as you can, so you're actively using your muscles for these. Then down as far as you can, using all the muscles to pull that down, and then back as far as you can. Okay? So you're actively using muscles to move that shoulder girdle around in this big circle. Okay? And if there's a part of that circle that you feel like is incomplete, that feels like an oval, you're going to use your breath to try and work through that full circle. Okay? So you're going to do that forwards and then you're going to do that backwards. Again, can you see the difference between a shoulder roll and between actively using those muscles and making that an active, big movement? You'll feel a lot of blood flow and a lot of warmth, especially through that mid-back area. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to do both at once. So you do opposites. Once you're good at that, you go one forward when the other one's far back. You come up when the other one goes far down. You bring the other one forward as the other one goes back, and vice versa. And you build that into a nice roll. And what you'll feel is it's quite an active movement. It takes quite a bit of effort, but it's relaxing as well, and you feel like this nourishing ringing through your mid-back. You feel a lot of heat through there and a lot of relaxing through your spine. It's a really lovely one. From there, another one for the rib cage that I find really, really useful is, I'll go side on so you can see what this is like. You're going to keep your body where it is and you're going to bring your rib cage forward in relation to your body. So you're going to lift the rib cage up and then you're going to go into pistol grip. And then you're going to bring your rib cage back in relation to your body. So you see here, I'm not doing my whole body. I'm keeping my body reasonably upright, and my rib cage is coming forward and lifting, extending, and then flexing, coming behind my body and stretching through the mid-back. And you can also do a side-to-side rib shift as well. And if you want, you can bring all those movements into circles both ways too. So this is like about trying to kind of isolate different areas of your body and get movement through them. It can be quite hard to get that body awareness initially. It just, as with anything, it just takes practice. Next we're going to go to the elbows. So from here, arms out, you're going to keep your elbows where they are. You're going to rotate your forearms down, keep the elbows where they are, and making as big a movement as you can. You're going to bring the hands down. You're going to come right out, opening out to the chest and bringing that back. Okay. Arms goes forward, coming down, opening out through the chest. So you're getting a mix of rotation happening, and you're also getting the flexion extension at that elbow joint and that rotation through the shoulder. Okay, and going back the other way. Okay. Opening out, right around, big movements, keeping the elbow where it is. Opening out, opening up through the arm, right around. Okay, and then we get to, nice and warm through my arms. Now we're going to get to the wrists. Now, you can start with one wrist until you get the idea of it. You're going to imagine that your hand or your knuckles are sort of floating in space, and you're going to just relax your body so that you come into extension of the wrist, and then flexion of the wrist, and you're just going to let that float. Okay, same thing, you're going to do both deviation, ulnar and radial deviation of the thing. You're going to bring into those sideways movements. But again, can you see the difference between this and that kind of floating around decompressing the joint? And once you've got the idea of that, you can kind of start to make, I find these hard to do, but you can start to make it where you feel that feeling that your wrist joint is just floating in space and there's no pressure through that area, and you're putting all those movements together. If you're doing them both together, it's imagine that you're like vroom, vroom, holding onto motorbike handles, and so your body is sort of rotating around where your hands are. Okay, or you can bring those movements together. Fingers, so you're starting with one finger and you're going to spread from the little finger, and you're going to open out one at a time right along to that. I don't know how to explain that. Okay, so fingers like a rainbow, you're opening up, coming right around. Okay. So that's just, for me as a massage therapist, it feels really, really nice. It just releases all through the fingers and through the hands. Okay, one of my favourite ones is releasing down the whole side chain of the body and through the back. From here, you're going to take all your weight onto your right hip, extend your right arm up. So see, you're not coming across, you're going diagonally up away from the opposite foot. On the breath out, stretching and releasing to that. Weight comes onto the left hip. On the breath out, I'm going to take my weight onto it as I lift my arm in a diagonally opposite direction. So I'm getting stretch all the way up my side, all the way up my arm. And again, doing this with my breath. So you imagine that you're sandwiched between two panes of glass. So you're not rotating, you're not twisting, you're keeping yourself upright, and you're just moving and getting that stretch through the side of the body. Okay, 3 of those on each side. And then we come down to the kind of the hip and the lumbar spine. So your lumbar spine, we're doing the difference between this tuck under and this tilt forward. So we're getting that mobilization at the same time as we're getting movement through the hip. So bend your knees slightly, and you're going to stick your bum out as far as you can to the back, and you're going to roll your hips forward. Okay, and some people may feel a bit of a stretch through this area here. Okay, and then you're going to come as far as you can to one side, and then you're going to come to the front. And when you come to the front, you're going to tuck the hips under, and you're going to feel that kind of stretch through the front there. For me, that's quite strong. You're going to come right around and bum back. So what you're doing is you're making a nice big circle with your hips, an active circle using those muscles, slowly going through that full range of motion. And you do 3 each side. Okay, tucking under. Okay, and that's a nice, that feels like a nice one. The next one, you're doing mobilization again through the hip, but also of the knee. So what we're doing is we're doing extension and flexion of the knee. Okay, but we're also doing, it looks like we're moving from the knee, actually this is rotation, this is medial rotation and lateral rotation of the hip. Okay, so from here you can bring this down just to those flexion, extension and the medial and lateral rotation. Okay. So that one there, sorry, that's medial rotation of the hip and lateral rotation of the hip. Or you can put these movements together if you feel comfortable. Now, doing this is quite hard work on the stabilising legs, so this is quite an active movement. So if I'm lifting up and doing my left leg, I'm having to work a lot through my hip stabilisers on the right and through my ankle stabilisers on the right as well. From here, keeping the knee where it is, I'm putting these movements together. So I'm bringing the heel in, which is putting me into lateral rotation through the hip, and I'm actively working as hard as I can to make that bigger movement until I'm coming to as straight as possible, extending through my knee as much as I can. Then the heel comes to the outside, going to medial rotation through the hip, right around. Okay, this is quite a hard one. And you're trying to make a big circle with your heel, trying to get as big a range of motion as you can. And it takes a bit of strength and control, and also mobility, and coming back the other way. Okay, and then you do the other side. So knees where it is at 90 degrees, heel comes in, right around to straight if you can, heel goes to the outside as you rotate through the hip. So we're not doing a big hitch of the hip, we're trying to keep the rest of our posture as stable as we can, and back the other way. And just go within the range of motion that you have. Ooh, that's hard work. Okay, the next one is through the ankles. So just like we're doing through the wrists, we're taking ourselves through those full range of motion and trying to imagine that we're decompressing, just sort of floating the joints. So we're sort of going into plantar flexion and dorsiflexion of the ankle. We're kind of moving our body around it. We're imagining that our foot's sort of floating in space and we're moving around it. And same thing, we're doing the tilters there as well. So we're going kind of pronation and supination. And you can make a nice big circle of this where our body's just floating around our ankle joint and back the other way. So it's a bit of a different feeling of this. And then that kind of float. It feels quite different. It feels like less pressure through the joint, and it feels more flowing and natural. Cool. Last one, you don't have to do this one, but I quite like it, is you start and you kind of do a circle and you come and put the pressure, this is bare feet, pressure through the big toe, right around to the little toe. Make a big circle. I always get lots of clicks when I do this one. So, and then I come back the other way. Here are a couple of clicks. And the best ones for me is then you come over the top of the toes. And that feels really nice for me, top of the toes. Yeah, and back the other way. And for me this just feels really good. I spend a lot of time in bare feet. Most of my day in bare feet. And that feels so relieving and so relaxing. Awesome, well I hope that's been helpful. Give that a go.